I work for the M&A 24/7. I have my own business. I am a farmer. I'm a hunter. I'm a trapper. I do anything that I can to live off the land and do anything I can just to keep our culture alive. Today I'm here to talk about trapping with a good friend of mine.
Hi, I'm Michael Walgren. I'm working in the oil field. I also live off the land. I harvest everything we eat. I do some net fishing to do some canning, and I also trap.
Some of the furs we have here today is some of the stuff that I have caught in the past and I've gotten tanned. The reason why I've got these guys tanned is for educational purposes, so I can take this to the schools and show the kids and educate them on what's involved with trapping and what the fur is used for. And this is a good example here of a nice little pine marten that was caught north of Touchwood Lake. He was running around, but he went to the wrong place at the right time. So today we stand here and we see this beautiful fur that we can share and educate the youth on this. Beautiful little pine marten. You see the orange?
Our martens get different colors too. You can get the white bellied ones, you get real dark ones, like black ones, like almost same as a fisher, right?
Yes. Explain that, guy.
So here's a small female fisher, and it's also tanned for the same purpose. But this is where your top dollar. This is what you get top dollar for, is your small females. So compared to a big male, you're looking at probably $100 for that, and then your big male, he's only worth probably $50. They're almost all black, your big males.
And the reason why the value is so high is just the color and the amount of guard hair that these animals have, and the sheen. Like they go with fashion is what it would be.
Yeah. And they look after themselves a little better than male does.
Sure, we'll go with that. And here is the rodent of Canada, just about, or of Alberta. This is an extra large blanket. No, it's not. It's a very small beaver. And the same thing, this was tanned for educational purposes to show the kids. A little rough tanning. I think Mike skinned this one for me. That's why it's got a few holes in it, but no, it's not bad. But this here was used for garments along with mitts and hats in the past. And it's used for wiping. It's used for keeping the frost off your face. It's an all-around beautiful little hide. They used to make hats out of this back in the day. Very nice tall hats. Nice.
I got some mitts. We'll get here in a minute. And here's our coyote. This is a nice coyote. Here's what we look at as trappers for a nice hide. You want the nice guard hair. And you get this in January, February. So this is a real nice coyote. And they don't want their bellies all rubbed out. Yeah, this is a top dollar coyote.
And sometimes when the coyotes flip them over, Mike, sometimes too, like what happens is we get coyotes, and it's called mange. They'll start to get pink in here, and you won't have as much fur.
Yeah.
And your fur quality's not very good, and nobody really wants them. So you really got to watch and be able to distinguish as a trapper what the market wants, and you really have to watch, because it's a pretty vicious little disease is what it is. Here we have the elusive mink. This mink was actually killed in a chicken coop by a lady. This mink was killing her chickens. So she took a hammer and she got the mink. I think it killed the majority of her chickens before she got him. So we got this tan for her, and we're just waiting for her to pick it up. But this animal was sought after quite largely in the 1800s, early 1900s, because of the fineness and the fineness of the fur and how it felt in the softness, and it was a lot of the ladies love this with their fashion. Nowadays it's a different story, but we're still here. It's part of our culture, it's part of our heritage.
How long is your trap line?
On the average, trap lines are all different sizes. Each trap line that I do is roughly right around a township. So 6 miles by 6 miles is what we're kind of on the average.
How long have you had your trap line?
This trap line that I have now, this one here, I've only had it since 2012. So just not even 9 years I've had it. And my son's I had that trapline since my son was 8 years old, and he lives on that trapline. That's his life. That's his home. That's when we're on a trapline, we're connected. We're part of the ground. We're part of the earth. We're I guess you could say we're spiritually connected, and we can walk in the bush, no guns. We can walk in the dark. It doesn't bother us. It doesn't affect us. We're not scared of anything. We feel it, and we're protected out there.
So when do you go out and stay on your trap line?
Whenever I can. That's the truth. The hardest thing in life right now is time. As you get a little bit older, you have to make time to be able to go. Right now, if I could personally live on a trap line, if I could actually make a living at it, you would probably never see me around the town of Lac-La-Biche. Maybe once a year, twice a year.
And when is trapping season?
It varies. It all depends on what you're trapping for. So the water animals, such as the beavers and the muskrats, that usually opens October 1st. The fishers, the martins, the weasels, that's November 1st. Coyotes, wolves, they all start October 1st as well. Otters don't start till December because they go off the primeness of the fur, is what they're looking for. The fishers, the martins all end, I do believe, at the end of February. The reason why they end at the end of February is because mating season kicks in. So they're more vulnerable to being caught. So that's why they don't want to decimate the population. They want to make sure that they survive. And then the water animals continue right until the end of April, I do believe, or May 15th.
See, we have quotas on fisher, lynx, otters, and wolverines. Where each trap line is different. If you have a bigger trap line, you're allowed one more than everybody else.
So what is the quota?
Your lynx, you're allowed, in my area, I'm allowed 4, 6 fishers, 10 otters, and I think 1 wolverine. Well, I don't have any wolverine in my area. So I've had these gloves. I purchased them from a lady. I bought them when I was 18, so I'm 40 now, and I still use them. They're in my truck 24/7, 365 days a year, and I trap with them. I hunt with them. I fish with them in the wintertime. They're my go-to mitt. That's beaver fur. The dog chewed them now, but they're getting old, just like me, I guess.
What does the fur do up here, like more to your sleeve? What's that for?
It's just to keep me warm around, so my skidoo suit, when I put it on, it holds that down.
And this part here?
And that part there, you shouldn't touch that. That's what I wipe my nose with.
That's what I thought.
Skidooing.
That's what I was asking, right?
That's the truth. Like these mitts are frozen from wiping. Like if I grow a beard in the wintertime when I'm trapping, I'm always wiping the frost off my face to keep warm. And these mitts are frozen, but you put them by the wood heater in the evening at the cabin, and by morning they're good to go again.
Or you just hold it against your nose, keep
Yeah.
your nose warm.
This one's always dry, so I'll keep this on my cheeks when I get cold. And minutes, you're warm, good to go again.
So you both have cabins.
We do.
And tell me about your cabins. Who made them?
I made my own. Everything from the roof to I got the logs. I couldn't put it the traditional way, the way the normal log cabin's built. My logs are standing straight up and down because I did it all by myself. So nobody wanted to help me, I guess I could say. So yeah, everything's built from scratch.
And how long have you had it?
Well, I'm still not quite done yet. It's been, I think 10 or 12 years, I think I've been working on it. You find something different to add on every year. Different sink, different cupboards. You don't like the way your stove is, so you move that. And add on to the bedroom a little bit.
My cabin we started in 2013. I had some relatives of mine. We put it together. It's a plywood cabin. We have a tin finish on the outside. And I built a 24 by 24 cabin because I wanted my family to be part of the trap line and the culture. And like Mike says, what happens with the cabin, it's never done. Because I started mine in 2013 and it's still not done. And it's probably not going to be done until the next person finishes or the next person after that. So you're never satisfied because there's always something to add to it. We built it up so the family could come. But as their children got a little bit older, they had different interests in life where they still come to the cabin, but as they hit those certain ages, well, especially the boys, they don't come as much, but as soon as they get the opportunity, they're up in the bush all the time. And as the kids got older, they had to get more into education so they get careers and goals done in their life. But our cabin, like I say, 2013, and I just put tin on it this year. We did a little bit of brickwork inside just to I guess you could say, because we wanted to, something to do. And it's a part of life. We go there and everything goes away. It's just a relaxing, peaceful atmosphere, and that's where you can unwind. That's what's the best part about the cabin. And the stories that go behind it, because I'll tell you, there's a lot of good stories that happen there, especially when a neighbor comes over. And the old stories that come out, that come out from the area, are unbelievable. So it's a very good time. It's part of your life and your culture, especially when you can hear the old stories from the old boys that come around. And one thing that Mike could probably emphasize on here, a lot of times trappers, what I found in the past, is we all kind of look for the same thing when we're following the muskies to find out where the animals are coming out or the best place to put our sets. But it's happened more than once where I went to find a set or put a new set, and all of a sudden you look, well, there's an old set there from 40 years ago. And you're thinking the same as the trapper that was there prior to you. So in a way, it actually makes you feel pretty warm inside because you know you're doing something that other people have done similar in the same areas and the same interest rate. It's pretty cool. Very cool.
Yeah, on my trap line, I found old squirrel sets, and I found old traps hanging in the trees, like footholds, which we don't use anymore. And they're there, like the old trapper before us used them, like same place I'm trapping today.
So how did you get into trapping?
I started with my grandpa and my dad when I was probably old enough to go, I guess, just tagging along. And then once I turned 14, I kind of started doing it by myself, kind of under a little bit of guidance, I guess. And then once I was old enough to get my trapping license, I just went on my own. So I learned from my grandpa and my dad. And then now I'm teaching my sons. He can take over for me soon enough.
Yeah.
This year he's gonna run his own little line, so he's just turned 16, so he can.
And how long is the line?
Oh my! I just have a small little line. I think it's like
Half a township.
yeah, half a township.
Okay.
But it's you can't go from one end to the other in a day when you're trapping. It's impossible. So you start setting snares and start resetting snares, and I got to break mine into 2 days, my runs, so I can usually a Saturday and a Sunday I'll go do 2 loops, and then in the middle of the week I'll do 2 loops again. So I break it up so I'm not pushing myself, I guess, too much. You start first thing in the morning, as soon as you get daylight, and you're finished again at dark, soaking wet and cold and frozen. Sounds like fun, eh? But it's something I love to do, and it's what I was taught to do, so I'll just keep doing it till I can't do it no more. That's my trapping career, I guess, in a nutshell. And Jason's been, me and Jason kind of trapped together years ago, and still, tell you stories of how I caught 2 beavers, and he only caught 1, and I missed 3, and he's got 2. So it's kind of the evening phone calls usually. It's still, you still talk to your fellow trappers and your friends, and it's good. It's a family thing, really, for me anyways. Like the whole family goes, like me, my wife, and my girl. My girl is now just turned 11, and she's starting to trap with me, so I guess one more person to teach before I'm done, and hopefully hopefully grandkids eventually. I don't know, I guess somebody taught us, so I got to teach somebody else how to do it. I'm not saying my way's right or wrong, but we follow the rules and everything. We're up to date on all the certified traps and everything, and all our quotas and everything.
So for me, it's a little different. I was one of those kids who never really paid attention in school. I was kind of a daydreamer. I was all over the place. When it came to the fur trade era in school, man, I had the highest mark more than anybody in the class because I don't know, it was just a passion. I think it's in your blood is what it is. My dad, my uncles, they didn't trap. They didn't do none of that stuff. But my grandma used to tell me stories as I was growing up about how her brothers did that and all that. And that was just instilled in me. It was just put into my blood. So a lot of the stuff was from listening to stories from elders on how to trap and reading books and all that as I was younger, because I didn't even know there was such thing as a license. I just went out and did it when I was a kid, and I just learned from the magazines I'd read in school and any of the books that I could until I got a little older. Once I got a little older, I got to know like Mike and his grandpa and his dad, and they would show me things, and we'd go out in the traplines, you'd learn things, and a lot of this stuff at first was self-taught, and then once you get to know people in the trapping community, because the trapping community is actually a very small community and everybody pretty much knows everybody. We all gather around once, twice a year, or sometimes it doesn't happen because of COVID lately. But we all know of each other. When you sell furs, you run into people you haven't seen since you were a child, but you still know that person, you treat them with respect. So a lot of this stuff for me was taught. Well, it was self-interest and then self-taught, and then when I got older, it was the people that shared as much. And I'm still learning every day. When I talk to somebody, I'm learning something new. We try everything different. It's a passion. I bring the family as much as I can now. The family's gotten a little bit older, so they all have their own interests with education and different careers right now. And it's a lot of work. But the way I look at it, we have to give where we can give, help where we can help, and I'll educate any child that wants to go out and do it. We need to keep this alive. A lot of the language has been lost through the Metis ways and the indigenous ways, but I just want to keep this alive, and it's part of my passion, part of my caring, and I'm not going to stop until I can't do it anymore. And it's close. And yeah, there's a lot of BS phone calls at nighttime, and you hear stories about, somebody will say they caught 2 beavers, but we all know where the story gets stretched. It's like these furs, they get stretched pretty far sometimes, eh? But that's all part of trapping. That's what keeps the passion alive, and that's what keeps the perseverance to catch more than your neighbor or do something. See, we all have stories, but at the end of the day, when we go to market, we know the truth because we can see what furs are laid on the table. So that's where it all started for me. That's where it can continue to go from there.
Do you have a favorite fur? A favorite animal to catch because of the fur?
I like them all. I like the fishers. I like the lynx. I like them all. They're all nice. Fishers are fun. Lynx are challenging sometimes, but you have to think like one of these guys in order to catch one of these guys. These guys you don't have to think very hard,
No.
because they're rodents. But a lot of these guys you have to think in order to catch them. So it's not just putting a piece of meat in a trap or a box or a special thing. You got to use your mind and imagination and put yourself at their level is what you have to do. And it's not easy, but it's physically hard, and you have to use your mind to be able to do this, especially when it comes to wolves. If you want to catch a wolf, you have to think like a wolf.
Yeah, wolves are probably the smartest animal we have for avoiding, human scent. I smoke, so excuse me. I smoke, so all that scent's on my hands, and I gotta wear gloves when I'm setting snares, just so my human scent's not on a snare. And we boil our snares, and I've tried bacon powder. I've tried spruce boughs is the best because that's natural, right? And a little bit of dirt and stuff to get the color off them, get the shine off them. So wolves is probably my favorite animal to harvest.
Most challenging one.
Most challenging one, yeah, by far. And then lynx too. Like lynx they're a curious animal, but they're you don't got the right bait and they'll just keep walking.
Tell me about yourself. What are you? What do you do?
Well, I started trapping with my dad when I was 3-ish. The deal was, as soon as I got out of diapers, I could go with them, so we didn't have to worry about changing me. So that was the deal. As soon as I was out, every day I was out before him, going with them. getting ready, going to see check traps, over his shoulder, checking what we caught, sitting behind him on the quad, ready to go in the morning, just all day, ready to go. So, I was always ready. Always wanted to go see what we caught, check traps, go see the new animal, or go help him, go help him try drag the beaver with him across the bridge, or go help him do something. Always there to help him, getting them spruce boughs to put beside the snare to make sure the wolf or coyote walks straight through the snare, not around it. And just always helping him. Just as a little kid, I was always ready to go and always wanted to help.
Why?
Well, that's just in the morning I was just pumped up, ready to go. Always wanted to go with him, just what made me get happy and feel it in my heart.
What makes you want to be a trapper?
Wow. Ever since I was probably yay big and just what I liked, always wanted to do it. And my dad taught me, and I went with my grandpa a few times, and he'd show me different stuff. My dad would teach me everything I knew now. And I'd go with my grandpa and he'd show me something different, show me another way, and then I was just hooked ever since I was little.
What's your favorite part about being on the trap line?
Probably seeing what you caught at the end of the day, or the next day when you go check your stuff. You just always have that excitement walking up to your box or your snare or chopping ice to check your beaver trap. Just that feeling, you're getting excited, getting ready to check, see what you got.
And now, how often do you go out to the trap line?
Well, we're out there probably, now that hunting season's coming to end, probably every weekend we'll be starting to go, now that it's getting ready to close to winter time. Creek's gonna freeze, so we can go across the creek, get our line, finish checking trails, cut down more trees if needed. So probably every weekend, and once we start trapping in November and December, we'll be there every weekend, probably 2-3 times a week after school. So most of my time spent out in the trap line.
And what do you do with the furs?
Well, we skin them and then we we don't tan them, but we skin them out to like this, and then we sell them to the fur buyers and try make a little bit. But some stuff, like if it's our first marten, we'll keep it. Like my dad still has his first one that he caught with me, and some stuff we keep that we just like, and special things we keep, or we give to like an elder. Like my dad caught a white wolf one time and he gave it to an elder, Diane Ludwig, and she still has it on her couch laying on the backside. So, some stuff you do other stuff with, and some stuff you get rid of. It's just you just have that feeling what you want to do with it.
What do you have a certain animal that you like to trap?
I always like the lynx because they're just a cool, curious animal. And then wolves, because my dad could always catch them, but I could never get them. And he'd always get them, and he'd see, then he'd show me his little tricks, how he did it, and how he made the wolf go straight through and not walk around your snare. Just the things like that, and because they're so rare, he'd maybe catch 1-2 a year or nothing. You see tracks, set snares for them, they come back, but they just turn around at your snare. You're always just waiting for that.
So, and do you plan on continuing to trap?
Yeah. Plan on doing it till I eventually have kids, teach them, and just keep passing it along till I can't do it no more.
Besides trapping, what else do you do?
I hunt and fish too. Same thing, everything was taught by my dad, grandpa too for some stuff. And now that I'm older, I'm starting to take my other grandpa with me and showing him some of the stuff that I've learned from my dad and stuff.
How about your friends? Do any of them are trappers?
No. Well, just Jason's son Reese is probably the only person that I know of my friends that trap. So only one out of probably lots.
Awesome. Do you have anything to say about trapping that people might not know?
It's hard work, but it does pay off in the end. It's something fun to do. Once you start doing it and like it, you can't stop.